not that?
We can't hear you.
Yes, that's all. Perfect. Good evening and welcome to Americana. We are back with the latest updates on the 2024 presidential election. I'm your moderator, Raquel Herring, joined by our Democratic host, Shakia Moore, and our Republican host, Willie Montague. We are only 12 days away from Election Day, and the race continues between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Let's dive into today's campaign highlights and see what's happening on the trail. Vice President Kamala Harris took part in a CNN presidential town hall in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, aiming to connect with the undecided voters. While she didn't dive deeply into policy specifics, she emphasized working across the aisle and drawing a clear contrast with Donald Trump, who opted out of the event. Shakia, do you think Kamala Harris's focus on bipartisanship will resonate with voters, or are they looking for more concrete policy details?
I think that's a great question, Raquel. I think voters are looking for both. They're looking for both bipartisanship and they're looking for concrete policy ideas. With 12 days left to the election, no one wants to hear division, like it's really down to the wire. So folks are really wanting to ask her the pointed questions, which they did in that town hall, and she answered them to the best of her ability. And I think each time she hits the stage, whether it's at a town hall or sitting down to doing an interview, she's getting better and better. A lot of folks are starting to see her personality versus, this notion that she was hiding behind the wall or hiding in the White House or not doing anything. But each time she takes an interview and each time she's asked a question by a voter, I think she's getting better with her responses. And folks are starting to see like, okay, she is legit, and I can trust what she's saying and I see a plan and I'm looking forward to that, manifesting on November 5th. Yeah.
Well, I can agree that voters are looking for bipartisanship.
Don't get too happy. Don't get too happy.
Don't get too happy, because I'm coming for you. But I would say that she is horrible at getting down to policy. As you mentioned, that when it comes down to policy, people need to hear that. And I think that, you said she's getting better and she's getting better like that. And you're getting ready to see kind of, her different, her personality increase. Yeah, she has a split personality. She doesn't herself know who
Let's
she
not
really,
talk about split
who she really is.
She doesn't go on Twitter rants. And,
well, she doesn't know who she is. That's
she doesn't do all that.
But one day she's the country bumpkin, down there, and the next day she's, washing colored greens in the baptism.
I just think it's funny. You have these opinions of her, but yet your candidate, who is running to be the president, has canceled 3 interviews with CNN, CBS, and other town halls. So the fact that you're able to say that she's not getting better,
as I've said before,
that,
he canceled because Crime News Network.
He's not showing up.
It's not beneficial to anyone.
Yet she was on Fox.
In other news, retired Marine General John Kelly, who served as Donald Trump's White House chief of staff, openly criticized the former president, stating that he fits into the general definition of fascist and expressed a desire for the kind of generals Hitler had. Now, these remarks have sparked concerns about how former President Trump views the presidency and how he might exercise his power if returned to office. So, Willie, could you clarify Donald Trump's proposed leadership style, and do you think this could possibly turn away potential voters?
Listen, no. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I want to clarify this. I want to say this, period. I respect our service men and women. Thank you for those that have Wild Wild West when you say anything related to people who are in the military. But I will say this with this part. President Donald John Trump is someone who is a businessman. He is a person that when he gets in front of you, he is going to let it be known what it is. You can call him a narcissist, you call whatever you want. He means business.
We're not calling him a narcissist. He's naming himself as Hitler, or a mini Hitler, or a dictator. So let's answer that question.
He did not say that. Here we go. Fake news.
How is that fake?
He did not say that he was. He did not say he was Hitler. He never said that he was Hitler. He has likened himself
to Hitler, and he has praised Hitler. Do we need to do a little quick history lesson, huh? Hitler. Do you know anything about Hitler?
I know Hitler. Let's
Okay, so
talk
what
about
has Hitler done? What has he done? What is he known for?
He is.
What is he known for? Okay, here we are. Hitler is known for killing 6 million Jews.
And you think that President Trump is coming to kill 6 million Americans?
A dictator is someone who has an authoritarian government, which means one person runs the country. If a person is praising a man who caused 6 million Jews to die and be murdered and put in concentration camps, what else do you think he has in mind for the American people?
Here we go, the pointed finger.
We're going to move on, though. Make sure you stay tuned for the latest campaign trail updates from Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Now it's time to move on to political program. Regardless of who wins the 2024 presidential election, many Americans want to see improvements in the economy, especially when it comes to the cost of living. Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have presented different approaches to address the growing housing affordability crisis. Willie, for the people who may not be informed, how do you think Donald Trump's housing plans will resonate with voters concerned about the cost of living?
So at the end of the day, President Trump is working on cutting red tape. We have inflation right now. It's Biden's-flation. Everything that was spoke about was Build Back Better, has been Build Back Worse. Is absolutely chaotic in the United States right now. And when you talk about housing, when you talk about millennials, Gen Z, and others who want to go out and buy a house, they're not able to do that under this current administration who has failed American people when it comes down to the housing market. And so I do believe that on a federal level, President Trump will step in to make sure that there is no federal red tape. He will make sure that he's going to lower and balance a budget and work with Congress to balance a budget to make sure that the American people will be able to once again thrive in the American dream. So if everybody wants to say, oh, he wants us to go back. So if going back is having affordable gas, having affordable groceries, then by all means, saddle me up. I'm going back with President Donald J. Trump.
Is that on his website? Is that written down anywhere? This plan?
Yeah, he's come up. These plans are there. Why isn't that Democrat?
Where is there?
It's on his. Go to his website. Go to DonaldJTrump.com. Go to Facebook. Go to all these things. He did this. I cannot help that Democrats spend most of their time in basements and do not get out to read what they need to be. When you have a whole party.
To this point, the reason why my colleague here is going off in a tangent, he's the mirror of Donald J. Trump. When you ask them and hold their feet to the fire, they do nothing but spread lies and mis and disinformation. So let's go back a couple of years to 2020 when COVID was around, right? Donald Trump was president at that time. And the reason why we are seeing a ton of houses that are either sitting on the market, folks are scared to sell, is because there is a supply and demand. Right now, the supply is extremely low and it is hard for you to sell because folks are afraid to sell and purchase in this market. The supply was low due to COVID. And at that time, under his presidency, a lot of the market tanked because of the rhetoric and how he handled the COVID crisis.
So let's ask a question. In those 4 years, what have they done?
Right now, VP Harris, if you go to her website and the plan that she has laid out, that's not a concept, it's an actual plan.
Concept.
She plans, when she is elected, to add 3 million housing units over the next 4 years of her presidency, and that will help people either buy or sell and even rent houses. We have to note that there is a housing crisis in this country, and COVID exploited that, especially for Black and brown people and folks who are at the poverty level. So if we can't address the homelessness, what do we expect when Donald J. Trump is in
That
office?
goes to the state level. This is what's happening with the radical left and their agenda. They are for overreach, they're for overpowerment and the government control. The government should have no say-so in state level things.
And I want you to keep that same energy for when women have autonomy over their bodies.
My energy is that, and it went to the state.
Government
that is what
should not have a place in a person's body.
Absolutely correct. But your body and the baby bodies are two different bodies. We're not going to go there. I don't have the.
So
I don't want to bring out my little 12-week-old friend.
I'm sorry, Raquel.
I don't want to bring my little 12-week-old friend out.
Housing. Well, I would like to know what are the short-term and long-term effects of Harris's and Trump's housing policies, and you brought up over the homeless rates.
Yeah. Say that question again. I'm sorry.
What are the potential short-term and long-term effects of Harris's and Trump's housing policies on homelessness?
You was about to talk?
Raquel,
you're a little irate. I want you to answer the question.
Please, I'm going to answer it. Please tell me, what does the federal level deals with HUD? You have fair housing is a federal thing. Okay. They put money and allocate it to the states that then allocates to your municipalities. Okay. Most of these states are that have blue leaning elected officials is where the homelessness is. You got places like California who has a poop map because they won't clear the streets.
So how is Trump's policies going to help with this?
What it's going to do is make sure there's money allocated to help in the housing crisis, but the states have to do their jobs in making sure that the local municipalities are doing their job to clean up homelessness. You cannot leave the federal government to take care of homelessness in your state.
Basic human right that is in our Constitution.
It is, and who should be responsible for that basic human right?
It should not just be at the state or local level. That should be a federal mandated
Why should that
issue.
be a federal mandate issue? So you mean?
Can you answer the question?
I'm asking why.
She asked the question, where is this going to lead us if Trump or VP
If Trump
Harris
leads there, if Trump gets there, we're going to have a great thriving. If Harris get there, we're all going to be homeless.
Coming up next, we're going to check out social media. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this commercial break. Welcome back. The 2024 presidential election has got it hot over here, okay? And it's trending across all social media platforms. Let's take a look at some of the most recent social media updates. Detroit's own Eminem has joined forces with Obama to campaign for Kamala Harris and a move Donald Trump dismissed by calling Eminem a so-called star. Trump stated that celebrities don't move the needle. In the past, we've seen Kamala Harris bring out Megan Thee Stallion to perform as part of her campaign efforts. Shakia, when it comes to politicians collaborating with public figures to raise awareness, do you think these high-profile endorsements and performances are truly influencing voters, or is it more about generating buzz for social media?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I say that because you have some social media users who really idolize some of these celebrities,
okay,
who really take what they have to say to heart and are moved and are filled with so many emotions, so they do as they're influenced by, right? But then you have some other ones who don't necessarily need social media to influence or guide their decisions when making political moves. And so I think what you're seeing is a little bit of both. I think it's strategic because at this point, you're really down to the wire. So you're trying to reach and grab as many people as you possibly can. And like we've both said before, like not everyone is politically savvy as to who they should vote for, what they should do. And a lot of folks nowadays consume their news by social media. Yeah. So they may not watch a traditional newscast. They may not read the newspaper like some of our older folks may do. I grew up reading the newspaper, well, watching my grandma and them read it, but nonetheless, media has changed. So consuming media has also changed. And so I think them adding influencers to their campaign is genius. Yeah.
What do you think?
Listen, Eminem is the same individual who just came out with a song that says F Liz Cheney and then comes back and wants to get on the Harris and Walz campaign.
I mean, you can say that about J.D. Vance.
Hold on, I'll let you finish. So we got Slim Shady has just bowed the knee to the woke agenda. And so he is now part of the wokeness coward movement. And so Slim Shady is no longer popular in demand. So I would just put it like this. He has, and these celebrities doing all these endorsements and stuff like that for her, and Tyler Perry and all of them like that, counts them all. If anybody understands what's going on in our country, they should be the ones that realize that if it's the Harris and Walz campaign, you won't be able to fund anybody because we're all going to be walking around here pinching pennies together because they have no actual solution for what's going on in this country.
What's so crazy that you say that is because the Republican Party wanted Taylor Swift to actually endorse Donald Trump. And when she didn't, Donald Trump, like in true fashion, went on Twitter and was like, I hate Taylor Swift, and just began to shame and just spew, the same type of rhetoric that he does with people who doesn't bow the knee. So if you want to hold mangoes to apples and oranges, like let's bring everything to the table. Y'all are upset that you can't get the popular celebrities to come to your rallies. And so you would rather go on social media and take this stance that everyone who bows to the left side are woke. And honey, if that's the case, then we all need to be woke. We should be woke. And there's nothing wrong with the term woke. Why is that a threat?
You know why it's a threat? Because the woke ideology that has infiltrated into the American system.
What is that,
Will? They are crippling our children's future.
What's the woke ideology?
And what you see with these so-called celebrities, we're not thriving and thirsty after celebrities. What it is Harris and Walz campaign has to pay money to actually get people to actually care concerning their campaigns. That is why you have people all over the country and other races having to go and campaign for them because they're losing. They're losers.
In a tense interview with Fox News, Kamala Harris emphasized that her presidency would not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency, while taking aim at Donald Trump for his ongoing threats against the enemy within. Willie, how might Harris's decision to distance herself from Biden shape her campaign for better or for worse.
And this is what I said about being, split personality, bipolar. Just not too long ago, she said that there was nothing she was going to change about the fact that of the presidency of Biden. Now she's separating herself from the presidency with Biden. This is the typical left, because now that they realize that Biden failed the United States of America, now she wants to separate. Too late, sister. You should have thought about that before you crossed over and decide to go out there and want to run for president, or was selected to run for president, never actually got a true nomination. And so because of that, now you're out there and you're sinking. So congratulations, Harrison Waltz. I see you at the bottom of the ocean when we're coming to pick you up, and we declare victory on
said
So
November
let's not
5th.
make a
She
reference
would
to a
change.
black woman being tossed in the bottom of the ocean, which is where our ancestors actually
Dear Jesus.
lie. So let's not do that on this show.
Here comes the victims.
I'm not being victim. I'm just letting you know
I'm a free
respectfully.
black man, free
I'm
thinking.
letting you know respectfully.
And now
Don't
we at the bottom of the ocean.
I'm just letting you know, don't try it. Don't make
if you have
reference
taken
to a black
if you
person
have
being at the
taken that
bottom
the
of the
black
ocean.
people are at the bottom of the ocean.
I'm just
Please let
letting
her
you know.
answer this question.
Okay, go
please.
ahead. Let's answer
Thank
the
you.
question.
Here.
Thank you. I don't
Thank
forgot
you,
what the
Willie.
hell the question was, because you don't got my pressure up
Let-
about black people being at the bottom of the damn
Go ahead.
ocean.
Let's
Wait a
answer the
minute.
question. I said Waltz too.
We got to ask the question again. Okay.
What was the question, girl?
They going to help me over there.
Okay.
This question, yes. So she said that she would not change anything.
Okay,
She didn't
yes.
say she wasn't going to change anything. So she's distancing, it seems, herself from Biden by saying, she's going.
Got it.
Her presidency will be her presidency.
Right. Okay. So Auntie Kamala shouldn't have said that from the beginning. She shouldn't have said that she wouldn't have changed anything from what Biden and her did. That was a poor response that she gave. However, if we're going to compare both campaigns, Trump has said a lot of crazy and foolish things that he's double backed on. One of those things being abortion. But I'm going to leave that there because that's not the topic at hand. However, when it comes to her distancing herself from the Biden campaign, I think it's fair. Like, we hold her to a different candle compared to the other vice presidents that have been in the seat. We don't know exactly what Mike Pence did. We never held him to a certain standard. We don't know exactly what Biden did when he was Obama's vice president. And now that she's running for office, we're demanding so many things from her, but it's the same from the previous VPs. And so I know we got to move on, but that's just crazy to me. And I'm glad that she's taking a stance, and we gave everyone else a chance. Why not give her a chance?
Well, she said it wouldn't be a continuation.
It would not.
She
She
didn't
would
say she
differentiate
wouldn't
herself.
change.
Yikes.
Exactly.
Scary business. Whew.
Well, look at this. Y'all can trust that we will fill you in on the latest news and social media updates. And on that note, let's check in on the latest polls. As of October 24th, 2024, the national polls show a tight race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Harris is currently at 48.6%, while Trump follows closely at 46.4%, both within the 3% margin of error. Shakia, although the race is extremely close, Kamala Harris has been leading the polls all week. What's your message to all of the undecided voters out there?
Ooh, we're going to see this tango from now until November 5th. My only advice would be that for the undecided voters, your future will be decided if you sit this race out. And your undecided vote, or your vote that doesn't go towards Kamala Harris, is going to put us as a country in a fascist state. And the definition of fascism, I think I gave it earlier, is the fact that there would be one person running government. We wouldn't have a say-so in who would run our local government, where we can go, how we would go. Just recently, J.D. Vance mentioned that he would want to have women not travel outside of the state to receive health care. You would have to prove that you are not pregnant before you actually leave the state. And you would have to prove that you are not no longer carrying a pregnancy or pregnant if you were to return to a state. So a lot of that is in line with Project 2025. Please go and do your research on that. And if we elect Donald Trump into the Oval Office, our entire world as we know it will not look like what it was just a couple of weeks ago. So I encourage all of you to vote accordingly. and just get out and exercise your democracy while we still have it.
Well, he has said that you won't have to vote again.
Yeah.
So, Willie, on the other hand, we are less than 2 weeks away from Election Day. Willie, what approach do you think Trump should implement in convincing the undecided voters?
Listen, you look at the models for this presidential race and all across the board with those states that are actually doing early voting and turning out, you see that the models are showing that President Trump is leading and Republicans are showing out in mass droves, and Democrats are actually the ones that are not getting out and actually voting. And so that shows right there that themselves know, and I've been approached by Democrats who said they're not going with Harris. They're not going to be fooled. They're not going to be tricked. But again, most of the radical left agenda is to go out and spew fear-mongering tactics. Black people are not ignorant, as this Harris and Biden, Walz, Obama, Iden campaign is trying to make it be. They are aware, and if you want to say woke, they are woke in greatness to vote for Donald Trump.
Shakia,
I am so
rebuttal?
I am so perplexed today. I don't really know what to say with that, but I think at the end of the day, I would have to agree with Will. Black folks are not stupid. Like, we know exactly what is happening. And I think a lot of voters now are just being convicted by their own moral compass. And a lot of folks are following after Donald Trump, because of his stance with abortion. Abortion and white nationalism and Christianity is leading this. And so I just think it's just time for us to get out and vote.
That's right. Thank you so much for tuning into Americana. You can meet us right here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. You know you're going to get some information, and it's going to be hot. Thanks for watching.